The day started like any other for Matthew Parker, a junior sales associate at Luxtime Watches, a high-end watch boutique located in the heart of London. The store was renowned for its exclusive collection of luxury timepieces, frequented by celebrities, tycoons, and connoisseurs from around the globe. Matthew, who had been working at the store for just over 6 months, prided himself on being sharp, vigilant, and professional. Today, however, was destined to be anything but ordinary. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. It was early afternoon when Matthew noticed a casually dressed man enter the store. The man wore a simple black hoodie, sweatpants, and sneakers, attire that seemed out of place amidst the store's opulence. Matthew observed the visitor from the corner of his eye, scrutinizing him as he meandered toward the displays showcasing watches worth more than most people's annual salaries. Something about the man didn't sit right with him. In Matthew's mind, he didn't look like someone who could afford the luxury watches the store sold. The man stopped at a case featuring a limited edition Patek Philippe and leaned closer to admire its intricate craftsmanship. Matthew approached, plastering on a polite yet guarded smile. "Good afternoon, sir. How can I assist you today?" he asked, his tone clipped. The man looked up, revealing a familiar face. His warm brown eyes and trademark smile were unmistakable to millions around the world, but Matthew failed to make the connection. "I'm just browsing, thank you," the man replied, his voice tinged with a polite Portuguese accent. Matthew hesitated. Browsing was not something typically encouraged in a store like Luxtime, especially when the customer gave no immediate indication of being a serious buyer. "Our collection is quite exclusive," Matthew said firmly, his tone now bordering on condescending. "Perhaps I can recommend something within your range?" The man raised an eyebrow but kept his composure. "I'm quite interested in that one," he said, pointing to a rare Rolex model encased in glass. Matthew felt a pang of annoyance. He assumed the man had no idea about the six-figure price tag associated with the watch. He decided to cut the interaction short. "I'm sorry, sir, but that piece is only available for clients with a pre-established purchasing history. Perhaps you'd like to look at something else." The man's expression shifted slightly, but he remained calm. "I see," he said, nodding. He turned to leave, but paused momentarily by the door. He glanced back, his eyes briefly meeting Matthew's, as though searching for something. Then without another word, he exited the store. Matthew felt a sense of satisfaction. He believed he'd done the right thing by dismissing what he thought was an unqualified buyer. His manager, however, was not as pleased when he overheard the incident. "Matthew, who was that?" asked Sarah Winters, the store's senior sales executive, her voice laced with urgency. "Just someone wasting time," Matthew replied nonchalantly. "Didn't seem like he was serious about buying." Sarah's face turned pale. "You didn't recognize him?" "Recognize who?" Matthew asked, confused. "That was Cristiano Ronaldo," Sarah said, her voice almost a whisper. "One of the most famous footballers in the world, and you just kicked him out." The weight of her words hit Matthew like a truck. Cristiano Ronaldo. The name echoed in his mind. A wave of realization washed over him as he recalled the man's face. It was indeed the global football superstar. A man who could probably buy the entire store's inventory without flinching. Panic set in. "Oh no," Matthew muttered, his voice trembling. "I didn't realize—" "You didn't bother to realize," Sarah snapped, her professionalism slipping for a moment. "Do you have any idea what this could mean for us? Ronaldo is not just a customer, he's a global icon. His endorsement, even indirectly, could elevate this store's reputation to unimaginable heights." Matthew's heart raced as he replayed the encounter in his head. The casual attire, the unassuming demeanor. It had thrown him off. But there was no excuse. He had let prejudice and a snap judgment cloud his professionalism, and now he had to face the consequences. Minutes later, as Matthew stood frozen in a haze of regret, the door to Luxtime Watches swung open again. To his astonishment, Ronaldo walked back in, this time accompanied by a well-dressed man who appeared to be his assistant. The air in the room grew tense as every staff member stood at attention, their eyes fixed on the footballer. Sarah stepped forward immediately, her demeanor poised and apologetic. "Mr. Ronaldo, welcome back to Luxtime. Please allow me to personally assist you with anything you need." Ronaldo glanced briefly at Matthew, whose face had turned crimson with embarrassment. Then he smiled graciously at Sarah. "Thank you," he said. "I appreciate it." As Ronaldo and Sarah began discussing the collection, Matthew stood awkwardly in the background, feeling like a pariah. He watched as Sarah effortlessly guided Ronaldo through the store, showcasing the most exquisite pieces. Ronaldo asked thoughtful questions, displaying a genuine interest in the craftsmanship and history of each watch. It became evident that he was not only a connoisseur, but also someone who valued quality and artistry. After nearly an hour, Ronaldo selected two watches: the rare Rolex he had admired earlier, and a bespoke Audemars Piguet. The total bill was astronomical, yet Ronaldo didn't bat an eye as he handed over his credit card. The transaction was smooth, professional, and utterly flawless. Everything Matthew's initial interaction had not been. Before leaving, Ronaldo turned to Sarah. "Thank you for your help today. You've been wonderful." "It was an absolute pleasure, Mr. Ronaldo," Sarah replied, her tone warm and sincere. Then, to everyone's surprise, Ronaldo turned to Matthew. For a moment, there was silence. Matthew braced himself, expecting a reprimand or perhaps a cutting remark. Instead, Ronaldo extended his hand. "I understand people make mistakes," he said, his voice calm but firm. "What matters is how you learn from them." Matthew hesitated before shaking Ronaldo's hand, feeling a mix of relief and shame. "Thank you," he managed to say, his voice barely above a whisper. As Ronaldo exited the store, a wave of murmurs swept through the staff. The footballer's grace and magnanimity left everyone in awe. Sarah approached Matthew. Her expression softened, but still stern. "You're lucky he's as forgiving as he is," she said. "But let this be a lesson, Matthew. In this line of work, you can't afford to judge people by appearances. Every customer deserves respect, no matter what." Matthew nodded, his face still flushed with embarrassment. "I understand. I won't make the same mistake again." The incident became the talk of the store for weeks. It was a humbling experience for Matthew, one that forced him to confront his biases and reevaluate his approach to customer service. He vowed to treat every individual who walked through the doors of Lux Time Watches with the utmost respect and professionalism, regardless of how they looked or what he assumed about them. As for Ronaldo, his visit to the store became a PR boon for Lux Time. Word spread quickly, and soon the boutique was flooded with new customers hoping to catch a glimpse of the football legend's preferred watches. The store's reputation soared, and its sales figures followed suit. After the incident, Matthew found himself replaying every moment of the interaction with Cristiano Ronaldo. The memory of dismissing one of the most influential figures in the world haunted him during his shifts and even at home. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had tarnished his professional reputation, not just with Ronaldo, but also with his colleagues and managers at Lux Time Watches. He knew he had to take action to restore his credibility, both in the eyes of others and his own. The day after Ronaldo's visit, Matthew arrived at work an hour early. He spent the extra time reviewing the profiles of regular customers and brushing up on his knowledge of the store's inventory. Lux Time prided itself on offering rare and unique pieces, each with a fascinating story or craftsmanship that justified its exorbitant price. Matthew realized that being well-informed was not just about being able to sell, it was about demonstrating respect for the artistry and heritage behind each watch. Matthew also decided to delve deeper into the luxury market and its clientele. He began researching the habits and preferences of high-net-worth individuals. He read books on customer psychology, watched videos on effective communication, and even studied the biographies of successful people like Ronaldo to understand their motivations and values. What drove them to choose one luxury brand over another? What experiences did they value when shopping? These insights became his obsession as he sought to better himself and never repeat the mistake of judging someone too hastily. Matthew's manager, Sarah, noticed his efforts. Though she had been harsh with him after the incident, she admired his determination to improve. She decided to give him an opportunity to redeem himself. One morning, as Matthew was preparing for the day's shift, Sarah approached him with a challenge. "Matthew," she said, her tone measured but encouraging, "we have a VIP client scheduled to visit today. I want you to take the lead." Matthew froze. He wasn't sure if he was ready for such a high-stakes task. "Are you sure?" he asked hesitantly. "What if—" "No what ifs," Sarah interrupted. "You've been putting in the work, and it's time to prove yourself. This is your chance to show that you've learned from your mistake." The words were both a challenge and a lifeline. Matthew took a deep breath, squared his shoulders, and nodded. "I won't let you down," he said. That afternoon, the VIP client arrived. She was a middle-aged woman named Eleanor Chambers, a prominent art collector and philanthropist known for her discerning taste. She was accompanied by her assistant, who carried a leather portfolio and took notes as Eleanor perused the collection. Matthew greeted her warmly and immediately launched into a detailed explanation of the store's newest arrivals. His tone was respectful and professional, but he also allowed his genuine passion for the craft to shine through. Eleanor was impressed by his knowledge and attentiveness. She asked numerous questions, and Matthew answered each one with confidence and poise. He listened carefully to her preferences and suggested watches that matched her style without being pushy. By the end of her visit, Eleanor purchased two exquisite timepieces totaling over £300,000. As Eleanor prepared to leave, she turned to Sarah and said, "You have a remarkable young man on your team." His enthusiasm and expertise made this an exceptional experience. The praise was a turning point for Matthew. His colleagues congratulated him, and Sarah gave him a rare smile of approval. For the first time since the Ronaldo incident, Matthew felt a sense of redemption, but the story didn't end there. Word of Cristiano Ronaldo's visit to Luxtime continued to spread, drawing a surge of new customers to the boutique. Many came out of curiosity, eager to see the store where the football superstar had purchased his watches. Some were serious buyers. Others simply wanted to snap a photo outside the shop. Regardless, the increased foot traffic brought unprecedented business to Luxtime. One afternoon, a young couple entered the store, clearly nervous but excited. The man, dressed in a modest suit, approached Matthew and asked to see the collection. He explained that he and his fiancée were planning their wedding and wanted to buy a watch as a symbol of their new life together. Though their budget was limited compared to Luxtime's typical clientele, Matthew treated them with the same level of respect and care he had shown Eleanor Chambers. He guided them to a selection of classic models, explaining the history and significance of each piece. The couple eventually chose a timeless Omega Seamaster, a choice that Matthew praised for its elegance and durability. As they completed the purchase, the man turned to Matthew and said, "Thank you for making this such a special experience. We'll never forget it." Moments like these reaffirmed Matthew's commitment to his work. He realized that selling luxury watches wasn't just about transactions. It was about creating memories and forging connections. Whether the customer was a global icon like Ronaldo or a young couple on the brink of a new chapter, every interaction mattered. Meanwhile, Ronaldo's purchase continued to pay dividends for the store. Luxtime's marketing team capitalized on the buzz, launching a subtle but effective campaign highlighting the exclusivity and prestige of their watches. They never mentioned Ronaldo by name, respecting his privacy, but the implication was clear to those in the know. The campaign's tagline, "Timeless elegance for legends," resonated with customers and elevated the brand's allure. Ronaldo himself remained a recurring figure in Matthew's thoughts. Though their initial interaction had been rocky, Ronaldo's grace and forgiveness had left a profound impact. Matthew often wondered if he would ever have the chance to meet him again and thank him properly. That opportunity came sooner than expected. Several months after Ronaldo's visit, Luxtime was invited to sponsor a high-profile charity gala hosted by one of London's elite. The event, attended by celebrities, business magnates, and philanthropists, was an opportunity for Luxtime to showcase its finest collection. Sarah selected Matthew to represent the store alongside her, a decision that surprised and thrilled him. The gala was a dazzling affair held in a grand ballroom adorned with crystal chandeliers and floral arrangements. Matthew felt a mix of nerves and excitement as he mingled with the glittering crowd, showcasing the watches on display. It was an entirely different world from the one he had known, and he marveled at the opulence around him. Toward the end of the evening, as Matthew was explaining the features of a limited edition Breguet to an interested guest, he felt a tap on his shoulder. He turned around and froze. Standing before him, dressed in a sharp-tailored suit, was Cristiano Ronaldo. "Good evening," Ronaldo said, a hint of amusement in his eyes. "Nice to see you again." Matthew's heart raced. He stumbled over his words before finally managing to say, "Mr. Ronaldo, it's an honor to see you again. Thank you for coming." Ronaldo smiled. "You've improved," he said, gesturing to the watch display. "I can see it." Matthew seized the moment to express his gratitude. "I owe you a lot, sir. Your kindness that day taught me an important lesson, and it's something I carry with me every day." Ronaldo nodded, his expression thoughtful. "We all make mistakes. What matters is how we grow from them." Their conversation was brief but meaningful. As Ronaldo moved on to speak with other guests, Matthew felt a sense of closure. The man he had once underestimated had not only forgiven him, but had also inspired him to become a better version of himself. The gala was a resounding success, cementing Lux Time's reputation as a leader in the luxury watch market. For Matthew, it marked the culmination of months of hard work and introspection. He had transformed from a naive sales associate into a respected professional, all thanks to a chance encounter that could have ended disastrously, but instead became a catalyst for growth. As Matthew stood in the grand ballroom watching the glittering crowd and reflecting on his journey, he realized that the true value of his work wasn't in the watches he sold, but in the stories he helped create. Each watch was a testament to moments of celebration, achievement, and love, timeless memories etched into the fabric of life. And for Matthew, the most valuable lesson of all was that everyone, no matter how they appeared, deserved respect and understanding. In the world of luxury and beyond, the true measure of success wasn't just in wealth or status, but in the way we treat one another. Months passed, and the lessons Matthew learned from his encounter with Cristiano Ronaldo and his subsequent transformation at Lux Time Watches continued to shape his life. But as time went on, Matthew began to realize that the impact of that day had extended far beyond the walls of the boutique. It wasn't just about selling luxury watches or earning the approval of high-profile clients. It was about redefining his entire perspective on human connection, humility, and personal growth. The buzz surrounding Ronaldo's visit had turned Lux Time into a beacon of luxury shopping in London. Clients from all over the world flocked to the boutique, not just to buy timepieces, but to immerse themselves in the prestige associated with the store. Celebrities, athletes, and entrepreneurs started to appear more frequently, drawn by the exclusivity and exceptional customer service that Lux Time had come to embody. Matthew found himself at the center of this transformation, often acting as the face of the boutique for VIPs and influential clients. One day, as Matthew was preparing for his shift, Sarah approached him with news that set his heart racing. The store had been contacted by a documentary team working on a feature about luxury retail and the cultural significance of watches. Lux Time had been chosen as one of the premier locations for the project, and the team wanted to include testimonials from staff members. Sarah, recognizing Matthew's growth and his pivotal role in the boutique's recent success, had nominated him to be interviewed. At first, Matthew was hesitant. The idea of being on camera, sharing his journey, felt daunting, but Sarah encouraged him to see it as an opportunity to showcase not just Lux Time, but also his personal evolution. "Think of it as your chance to inspire others," she said. "What you've learned could resonate with people, both in our industry and beyond." The documentary team arrived a week later, bringing cameras, lights, and an air of excitement that filled the boutique. The director, a charismatic woman named Clara, immediately put Matthew at ease. During the interview, Matthew spoke candidly about his early days at Lux Time, the Ronaldo incident, and how it had become a turning point in his career. He described the lessons he had learned about humility, professionalism, and the importance of treating everyone with respect. As he shared his story, Matthew realized how much he had grown. The younger version of himself, the one who had judged Ronaldo based on his casual attire, felt like a distant memory. Now, he saw every customer as a unique individual, each with their own story and aspirations. He emphasized the joy of helping clients find the perfect watch, knowing that these timepieces often marked significant milestones in their lives. When the documentary aired several months later, it garnered widespread attention. Viewers were captivated by the behind-the-scenes look at the luxury watch industry, but it was Matthew's story that struck a chord. Social media buzzed with comments about his honesty and growth, and many people reached out to Lux Time, praising the boutique for its dedication to customer service and integrity. Matthew even received a handwritten letter from a young man in Brazil who had been inspired by his journey. The documentary also had a ripple effect within the luxury retail world. Other boutiques began to reevaluate their training programs and customer service policies, emphasizing empathy and adaptability. Industry conferences invited Matthew to speak, asking him to share his insights on building meaningful connections with clients in high-pressure environments. These speaking engagements became another unexpected chapter in Matthew's journey. Standing before audiences of industry professionals, he felt a sense of purpose he had never experienced before. But Matthew's growth didn't stop there. Inspired by his experiences, he decided to pursue formal education in business and customer relations. He enrolled in evening classes at a prestigious London university, balancing his studies with his work at Luxtime. The coursework expanded his understanding of marketing, branding, and consumer behavior, enabling him to contribute even more to the boutique's success. One of Matthew's projects for a marketing course involved creating a hypothetical campaign for a luxury brand. Drawing from his experiences at Luxtime, he crafted a proposal that focused on storytelling and personal connection rather than traditional advertising. His professor, impressed by the originality and depth of the project, encouraged him to consider pursuing a leadership role in the luxury retail industry. This encouragement planted a seed in Matthew's mind. While he loved his work at Luxtime, he began to think about the bigger picture. What if he could apply what he had learned to help other boutiques create meaningful experiences for their clients? What if he could shape the future of luxury retail, ensuring that it became not just about exclusivity but also about inclusivity and genuine connection? As Matthew contemplated these possibilities, another unexpected opportunity arose. Luxtime was approached by a prestigious watchmaking brand based in Switzerland. They were seeking a partner to co-host an exclusive event showcasing their latest collection, and they wanted Matthew to be the event's keynote speaker. The invitation was a testament to how far he had come, and he eagerly accepted. The event, held at a grand estate overlooking Lake Geneva, was a spectacle of elegance and sophistication. Guests included watch enthusiasts, collectors, and journalists from around the world. As Matthew took the stage to deliver his speech, he felt a surge of confidence. He spoke about the artistry of watchmaking, the significance of time as a concept, and the human stories behind every purchase. He also shared his own journey, emphasizing the lessons he had learned and the transformative power of humility. The speech was met with a standing ovation, and afterwards several guests approached Matthew to share their appreciation. Among them was a representative from the Swiss watchmaking brand, who expressed interest in collaborating with him on future projects. It was a moment of validation, proof that his hard work and self-reflection had not only redeemed him but also propelled him to new heights. Back in London, Matthew's life continued to evolve. He remained a key figure at Luxtime, but his role had expanded beyond sales. He was now involved in strategic planning, helping to shape the boutique's vision for the future. His colleagues looked to him for guidance, and even Sarah, who had once scolded him for his misstep with Ronaldo, treated him as a trusted partner. Matthew also began mentoring new employees, sharing his knowledge and experiences to help them navigate the challenges of luxury retail. He encouraged them to approach every customer with curiosity and respect, reminding them that appearances could be deceiving. His mentorship became a cornerstone of Luxtime's training program, ensuring that the lessons he had learned would continue to shape the boutique's culture for years to come. One evening, after a particularly busy day at the store, Matthew received an unexpected message. It was from Cristiano Ronaldo. The footballer had seen the documentary and wanted to congratulate Matthew on his growth. He also extended an invitation to Matthew and the Luxtime team to attend one of his upcoming matches as his guests. The gesture was a full-circle moment for Matthew. He and the team attended the match, marveling at Ronaldo's athleticism and charisma. Afterward, they were invited to a private reception where Ronaldo personally thanked Matthew for his dedication to excellence. The encounter was brief but meaningful, a reminder of the journey that had begun with a simple misunderstanding and had grown into something extraordinary. One particularly poignant moment came when a customer named Evelyn Bennett, an elderly woman with a love for vintage timepieces, entered the boutique. Evelyn was not wealthy by Luxtime standards, but she was passionate about watches and had saved for years to purchase a specific model, a 1960s Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso, a watch she had dreamed of owning since childhood. Her arrival in the store was hesitant. She feared being judged or turned away, much as Matthew himself might have once done during his early days. But Matthew now carried a keen sense of empathy. He immediately recognized Evelyn's apprehension and took it upon himself to make her feel welcome. He guided her through the boutique with patience and care, explaining the features of the vintage pieces and sharing stories about their history. When Evelyn finally chose her reverso, her eyes glistened with emotion. "This watch means so much more than I can put into words," she said, her voice trembling. "It's a piece of my past, a connection to my late father, who introduced me to watches." Matthew was deeply moved. He ensured that the watch was presented to Evelyn in a ceremony befitting its significance, complete with champagne and a handwritten note from the boutique. It wasn't just about the sale, it was about honoring the meaning behind her purchase. As Evelyn left, she thanked Matthew with a heartfelt sincerity that reminded him why he had chosen this path in the first place. Beyond the boutique, Matthew's influence extended into the community. Inspired by his own growth, he began volunteering at local workshops aimed at helping young professionals develop soft skills, confidence, and customer service expertise. He believed that the principles of respect and understanding he had embraced could benefit people in any field, not just luxury retail. His sessions became popular, attended by individuals from diverse backgrounds who were eager to learn from someone who had turned a personal misstep into a platform for success. During one of these workshops, a young man named Ravi approached Matthew after the session. Ravi had recently started working in a high-end clothing store and struggled with the same biases and insecurities Matthew had once faced. He admitted that he often felt intimidated by wealthy clients and worried about making mistakes. Matthew took the time to listen to Ravi's concerns and shared his own experiences in detail, including the story of Cristiano Ronaldo. He emphasized the importance of treating every interaction as an opportunity to learn and grow, rather than fearing failure. Over the following months, Ravi stayed in touch, often seeking advice. When he eventually earned a promotion at his store, he credited Matthew's guidance as a turning point in his career. Back at Lux Time, Matthew's contributions continued to evolve. He spearheaded a new initiative to collaborate with independent watchmakers, giving lesser-known artisans a platform to showcase their creations alongside the industry giants. This initiative not only diversified the store's offerings, but also highlighted Matthew's belief in the value of craftsmanship and storytelling. It brought fresh energy to Lux Time, attracting a new wave of clientele who appreciated the blend of tradition and innovation. Matthew also became a sought-after voice in the broader world of luxury retail. His speeches and articles often touched on the theme of authenticity and customer interactions. He argued that in an age where technology and algorithms were replacing human connection, the ability to listen, empathize, and adapt was more valuable than ever. His words resonated with audiences, leading to invitations to speak at international conferences and contribute to industry publications. One particularly memorable opportunity came when Matthew was invited to Geneva to speak at an annual watch symposium. The event brought together watchmakers, collectors, and retailers from around the world. Standing on stage in a room filled with some of the most respected names in the industry, Matthew reflected on his journey. He began his speech with a simple statement: "I am not here because I am perfect. I am here because I learned how to grow from my imperfections." He recounted the story of his mistake with Ronaldo and the lessons it had taught him about humility and the importance of seeing the humanity in everyone. The audience listened intently, many nodding in agreement. When he finished, the applause was thunderous, and several attendees approached him afterwards to share how his words had resonated with their own experiences. As Matthew's reputation grew, so did his aspirations. He began to dream of opening his own boutique, a space that would embody the principles he had come to value so deeply. It would be more than a store. It would be a haven for watch enthusiasts, a place where every visitor felt valued and understood. He envisioned curating a collection that celebrated not only luxury, but also individuality and the stories behind each timepiece. While the idea was still in its infancy, Matthew felt a sense of excitement at the possibilities. He knew the road ahead would be challenging, but his journey thus far had prepared him for whatever lay ahead. His experiences, both the triumphs and the mistakes, had given him the resilience and perspective to face any challenge. As he stood in the quiet of the Lux Time boutique one evening, watching the city lights flicker outside the glass storefront, Matthew felt a profound sense of gratitude. His journey had been shaped by unexpected moments, from the humbling encounter with Ronaldo to the opportunities that had followed. But above all, it had been shaped by his willingness to learn, adapt, and strive for something greater. Time, after all, was more than a measure of minutes and hours. It was the sum of the moments that defined us, the choices we made, and the connections we forged. And for Matthew, every moment, no matter how small, had become a part of a story worth telling. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on an employee kicking Cristiano Ronaldo out of a store? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.